One better than Tokyo and two more than predicted, but Great Britain's medal table still seeing a huge gold drop. The team now vowing to get back at Aussies in 2028. Our session with the British Chamber of Commerce this month focuses on two races: the medal race from the Paris Olympics and the race to cut interest rates by central banks. BCCP's Executive Director Chris Nelson now joins us live. Chris, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Great to be here as usual, and welcome to all your viewers as well.
All right, so let's start with the Paris Olympics. Your thoughts? How did Team GB do for you?
I think they did well. First of all, let me say congratulations to France. I think they hosted an excellent game, so congratulations to them. I think GB did well. It was one medal more than last time. As you're right to point out, it was lower on golds. In fact, I was looking at statistics. The US media tends to rate it based on just total number of medals. I think GB did very well in certain disciplines, as we always do. Cycling, rowing, I think sailing. And of course, I think this is a reflection of the investment. UK sport, I believe, put in certainly on an annual basis over 245 million pounds. So it clearly benefits. Obviously, we'd have liked to have got more gold medals, and congratulations to those who did. And we missed out in certain areas. And one where we didn't get any golds, which is a sport I used to play, was actually field hockey. So hopefully in the next one, we'll be back getting those golds. But overall, a very successful. And again, congratulations to France on an excellent Olympics.
And to all the Olympians out there, I wonder, Chris, if you could give us a sense. You know, everybody is now putting the spotlight on every country's investment in sports, the economy of sports. We know it's big money when you talk about sponsorships, advertising. Could you give us an idea how, the UK actually invests in sports? How do your athletes feel about the support they're getting from the nation?
Yes, I mean, clearly when you see the investments the UK has made, that's made a benefit. I should also just say congratulations, of course, to the Philippines and Carlos Yulo on his excellent two gold medals. Yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous performance, and congratulations to him and everybody as well. And also very unlucky, I think one of the ladies in the golf was fourth, very close to a bronze medal. Look, the UK has been consistently investing in sport, and that's reaped benefits. Sport has a great tradition in the UK, and this has been a summer of sport. Let's not forget, we just had the Euro footballs. England was in the final. Again, congratulations to Spain. They won. And starting Saturday is the Premier League, which, as you're probably aware, Mimi, is the number one watched football league in the world, and obviously highest generating in terms of income. I mean, estimated for the UK every year, it's over I think it's close to 18 billion pounds. And then you have the international. So I think the UK has taken money from various forms. Obviously, there's been the lottery money that's been one of the investments. But UK governments have seen the benefits. Sport is a tradition, and the Olympics I think conveys how well we've done, but also I think is a reflection of how tough the competition is. The fact that we were one medal higher than the previous Olympics, yet in terms of how they rank it based on golds, we're actually seventh overall compared to the previous time of fourth. So the UK sees the benefits. They've got add-on industries and employment and growth. And as I said, you'll see the Football League starting again this Saturday. So even more interest and more generation and investment will come.
Lots of money in sports. Let's talk about another competition, which is a competition for investments, and another race, a race to cutting interest rates. All eyes on central banks. Of course, the Philippine Central Bank will be meeting this Thursday, and it's now a toss-up whether it's going to be a cut ahead of the Fed, which is expected to start cutting by next month, September, or maybe a no change for the BSP. What are your executives? What are your companies based in Manila? What's the sense that you're getting from them? What is the expectation? Do you think the central bank should and will cut this month, or should it wait for the Federal Reserve?
It's a very, as you say, I was watching the program earlier, and it's very much a toss up, right? I mean, I think there's a difference. It's finely balanced between those who think they will and those who will not. Let me just say, first of all, that the Bank of England is one of the first to cut. They cut on the 1st of August from 5.25 to 5. Let's look at some of the key points. I should point out that the Philippines GDP, I think, for the second quarter is 6.3%, which has risen upward. Of course, the central bank is concerned about inflation, which, if I recall correctly, is now moved up to about 4.4 on a monthly basis. But going forward, there are opportunities for that to get dampened. And in that context, there's Executive Order 62, which lowered the tariffs on rice, and also extended, which of course something we've worked extremely hard on, which of course the lowered tariffs on pork and other foodstuffs for the rest of this administration, and that benefit will come through. What do I think? I think it's a very tough call. I mean, one benefit is the fact that the peso has strengthened recently, so it's now at 57.40. So that gives some scope, because, of course, if Banco Central cuts at this current meeting, then before the Fed, is that going to produce some weakness in the peso? I think all economies are now looking at an environment going forward of reducing interest rates. Growth is a key factor. And as I said, 6.3 is a very strong figure. I think it's a very tough call, and it could go either way. But in terms of optimism, what we'd like to see, of course, executives and companies want to be in an environment where interest rates are, in terms of outlook, going downward, because growth is a key factor. And the Philippines is growing. If you take the UK as a comparison, our growth rate for the previous quarter, will come out the new one this week, is 0.7. That's just barely growing. So therefore, there's room and need to keep growing the economy. And the US has been growing, but as I'm sure it's been noted, there were some concerns over the job figures the previous week, which caused the market sell-off. So I think in terms of environment, we'll have to see what the BSP does. But I think going forward, what companies and people are looking for is a lower interest rate environment to generate more growth.
Aside from that stronger growth, what else are UK companies doing business in the Philippines wanting to see to convince them to expand and to keep growing in this market?
Well, as we've discussed on a number of times, they want to see further removal of limitations on investments. I also want to stress that we've been very pleased recently with some of the legislation that's been passed. I think that's very important. So in that context, the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act, so we congratulate the move on that. We've seen moves recently for the passage of the Anti-Agriculture Economic Sabotage Act. All of these will create an environment to do better business, and we want to see further removal on investments. And of course, the support we also give to ARTA, the anti-red tape, further reduction on red tape, on processes. And in that context, we're also supporting the E-Governance Act. So those will improve. But the Philippine economy is obviously optimistic. We appreciate that it's grown, as I said, at 6.3. The workforce is talented, and that's obviously a great opportunity. And also, it's a market for people. It's a growing market, and it's a growing young population, and we see opportunities, and those are the ones that we emphasize to companies on a regular basis.
All right. And for those who are watching us, we don't ask this question often enough. But when you look at the British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, how many companies are we talking about exactly? Could you give us a ballpark figure of how many UK companies are doing business in the Philippines? And maybe if you could name the top three in terms of size and what sort of growth they're expressing.
Sure. So we have over 300 members. I want to emphasize that they're both British and non-British companies. And we believe operating in the Philippines will be over 200 UK companies, but they'll be linked with associates. We obviously have large corporates such as Shell, HSBC, Unilever, GlaxoSmithKline. These are all members. And in terms of their outlook, I think they continue to see the Philippines as a very, very important market. Population is significant. It's young. It's dynamic. And I can't re-emphasize enough. I mean, 6.6% GDP growth rate is a very strong figure. Now, what they're also looking to see is that continuing move in terms of investment in infrastructure, which, of course, the governor's talked about, in terms of moving that forward, because that will also boost the economy. Also constantly competing with other countries in Southeast Asia. That's why when we discussed previously the signing to RCEP and the opening and the work done, and in partnership, of course, we support very strongly the Department of Trade and Industry and continue to foster trading relations. And in that context, of course, the UK government is also pursuing its involvement with the Pacific Partnership. So all of those and those top companies see opportunities in the Philippines.
Just very quickly, there's also looming proposals, measures pending with the lawmakers about digital tax, VAT on digital VAT. This will affect companies like Netflix and YouTube, who will finally be paying taxes in the Philippines. As a foreign investor, how does this sound to you? Does this sound reasonable to you, or is this something that will drive you away?
Look, other countries, the UK already has a digital tax. I think it's 2%. There are taxes across Europe, Austria, Hungary, Portugal. And I know that Secretary Recto has estimated that it could net about 20 billion, if I'm correct. I think the concern would only be is what is the rate of that tax? Digital tax and the taxing of e-commerce is there. The question will be the rate. As I said, in the context of the UK, it's 2%. I think in here they're looking at 12%, which is your VAT rate. So in terms of investors, I think it's not that there will be a tax. It's more what will the rate of that tax be, how it will be applied. And obviously e-commerce and digital transactions will be an increasingly important aspect of all economies.
And we also have a new education secretary. I wonder, when you talk to your companies, member companies, are they expressing worries or concerns about, the talent pool, the bench not being deep enough, a job skills mismatch perhaps, or not?
No, I think, first of all, best wishes to Secretary Sani Angara. We know him and we look forward to working with him. I think the Philippine talent pool is, as we've discussed, very much appreciated. However, it's competing in a tough world and needs to strengthen. In that context, I'll make references to President Marcos' Sonar speech, where he said the need to create specific courses. He mentioned particularly cybersecurity and creative industries. In that context, the UK is a leader in cybersecurity. We have members on cybersecurity in our chamber, and there is something. We actually had an event hosted by the British Embassy at the beginning of the year with Martin Kent, who is the Trade Commissioner. So I think the UK has a lot to offer. So I think those points put out by President Marcos is something we would fully endorse. And of course, the Philippines needs to keep up with further developments on things like AI and so forth.
Of course.
If that can be done, then I believe strongly that the Philippines will be seen as a great opportunity for companies to use that talented workforce and keep going forward.
Chris, we don't have much time. Last minute, what's going to keep you busy in the next few weeks and months? So just give us your calendar. You're always so busy, always so many activities. Just very quickly, just run us through the activities.
Well, look, for this month, very quickly, we got Property Matters, which is our 8th time, very important. It's been a key event for us. We'll also do a key focus on food and beverage. That's obviously for August. But coming up, I'd just like to highlight again, in October, we're going to have the Great British Festival. We're already starting doing a lot of work for that. That highlights the amount of investment UK companies and business and opportunities to bring new companies and the culture and the link between the two countries. So those are going to be our key focus, along with many other events that will run at the same time.
All right. On that note, Chris, we'll talk to you again next month. Thank you for the time and the insights today. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Wishing everybody a great day and a great week ahead. Thank you.
All right. Now, before we